Hello, everyone. My name is Peyton Deaver, and today I'm going to be talking to you about an article from CNN Business titled What Australia's New Law Might Mean for the News You See in the Future. It was published very recently, February 28th, by Brian Stelter, and the link can be found at the bottom of the slide. So, in the article, Stelter discusses a new Australian law called the News Media Bargaining Code, which was passed last Wednesday, February 24th. It has grand implications for big tech companies such as Google and Facebook. And for the purpose of this presentation, I'm going to focus on Facebook specifically as they played a key role in the events leading up to the passing of the law. So basically, the News Media Bargaining Code requires that Facebook, among other tech companies, pay news producers for their content so that the social media users can post it, share it, link it, and like. And also, they have Facebook and other tech companies must inform the news producers of upcoming changes to algorithms so that way they're not caught off guard. Basically, the law was passed to correct the imbalance of power that Facebook and other tech companies have over these news producers. Almost ironically, when the law was proposed, Facebook began to backlash, and eventually they even blocked some of the news that Australia was pushing regarding the law. Ironic, if you ask me. But eventually, Australia's government began to negotiate with Facebook. The block was lifted and the law was passed. So, why do I think it's pertinent? I'm going to start by saying why I think it's interesting. A question was proposed a couple weeks ago in class, and it has very much stuck with me. Should we let so few tech companies, such as Google, Facebook, Apple, and Twitter, control the internet? I mean, these very few companies hold a lot of power over this big thing we call the internet. And maybe I'm a skeptic, but it makes me wonder, are we actually seeing everything we can see, or are we seeing only what they want us to see? Of course, the documentary that came out recently, one that I love, The Social Dilemma, actually discusses a lot of these big ideas regarding what we see, what they want us to see. And I don't think it's a surprise that this documentary came out only months before the law was proposed. And that's why I think it's important. People are beginning to realize that social media is a lot more dangerous than we once thought it was. I mean, these algorithms are deciding what we see, but even more than that, these companies writing the algorithms are kind of also deciding what we see, as we saw with Facebook blocking the Australian news media. So now organizations such as the Australian government are beginning to take action. Facebook is not the only one with power, and this power is being taken away from them. So as these companies, as these organizations, as these governments are beginning to lash back at Facebook and as other tech companies, Facebook, they're going to have to take action. So that brings me to what they should do next, especially in response to the News Media Bargaining Code. Well, explicitly and obviously, Facebook needs to follow the governmental laws, especially if those laws are in the best interest of the people, like the News Media Bargaining Code. They should not have blocked the Australian news regarding the code. I don't think that was a good decision, and I think it even proved the Australian government's point. Going forward, if more laws like this are beginning to pass, Facebook and other tech companies need to be quick to listen and slow to talk. They were lucky that the Australian government were even willing to negotiate with them. But implicitly, there's an underlying question that Facebook needs to answer, and that is, should they pay for all types of news content so that it can be posted, or for only a portion that it decides? Of course, this comes back into the play of, are we seeing everything? Being that Facebook is first and foremost a social media platform, I think that they should be paying for all of it. Whether the news media is on one side of the spectrum or whether it's on another side, whether it's a small company or a big outlet, they should be allowing users the opportunity to post what they want to post. I mean, after all, Facebook began as a place where people can come together online and talk. And I think that they should continue this. As more laws come out in the future, Facebook needs to be prepared to let it all happen. Thank you.